The Rise of Africa, the continent, the diaspora, and BRICS explores the relationships that are affecting the global economy right now. This book explores the relationships of the African diaspora's influence on the African continent and why this is important in stabilizing relationships with an understanding of how BRICS impacts the future, good or bad. You can order your copy of The Rise of Africa today on Amazon.com.
Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. The reason that I can say that is you have a couple of different factors occurring right now as we speak on the world stage. The dollar is being disrupted. Nations are no longer wanting to engage with the United States. But the third factor that affects each and every one of us is that there is a diaspora from the African continent that's willing and able to engage our brothers and sisters on the continent.
All right, shalom, salama, tiemi, shalom. Greetings to all my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world. Whether you're of the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you're a Gentile grafted into the house under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach, I welcome you this morning. Being grafted into the house is not a zero-sum game. Matter of fact, that's the whole reason why Yahushua had come to the house of Israel, his forefathers, for the Yahudim, for the Israelites, to be a light to the nations. He said the nations, they wanted to overcome, they wanted to take it too far, and it's appropriate when I said, let the bread and circus games begin. We think that these things are just, I don't know, just celebrating whatever. It's here for whatever. I want us to understand what they do in movies is something that when the deal goes down, that you're truly understanding why things are happening the way that it's happening. Let me put this on full mass. That's full picture. This is from a CNN article. This is last week. Trump announces Patriot Games, a youth athletic competition celebrating United States 250th birthday. Now, I know what you all are thinking, and I'm going to say this if I can get out of these Defender commercials and cars that nobody can afford to buy in this Trumpian economy. I'm going to say nobody in terms of a good 30% of Americans. And we don't actually even know because, again, they lie on the numbers. Now, I want you to understand what this is doing. President Donald Trump announces Thursday the White House will host the Patriot Games, a competition with young athletes from across the country as part of the celebration of the United States' 250th anniversary next year. In the fall, we will host the first ever Patriot Games, an unprecedented 4-day athletic event featuring the greatest high school athletes, one young man and one young woman from each state and territory. Now, again, Janice and Jambres, this is the whole thing. You have the sad and the happy, you have the cynical and the stoic, right? So you have these dimensions. So then you have to have the antithesis. Democrats have mocked the athletic competition online, comparing it to the Hunger Game movies or Hunger Games dystopian young adult novel and popular movie franchise. Okay. Give me a second. Exactly, Tyrus. And that's what it is. But it okay. It's what it will become. What it is right now is supposed to be, very, very, very neutral, good, good rapport, builds morale, blah blah blah. Now think about that in all the sports that we've had and all the competitions. Now think about Rome. Think about the Greek games. You had the Greeks, and then Rome did what? They amplified it to a level of bloody spectacle. Do you want to have your son or daughter as a tribute? That's where it's going to go to. Because then it's going to go to that on the world stage. The only ones, obviously, that won't be impacted would be obviously Africa, the continent of Africa. If you do not participate, then guess what? You're not going to get resources because guess what? Your area got wiped out. We're not going to do this once a year or every 4 years like the Olympics. We're going to make sure it's done every year as a sacrifice. Why? Because again, the prophets of Baal cannot keep their kingdom in line, so therefore they have to Draw blood. Shout out to Sister Chantel. She just shared this with me literally a couple minutes ago. And I said, well, let me take a look. Yeah, the new Squid Games, the Mega FW or VWF Wood. Yes, the new Squid Games. But again, why are they doing it, especially for the youth? And you have to understand they're putting plans in place 100 years in advance. This is 100 years in advance. Because why? Because they're going to say, well, during this time, we have to resurrect. And I pray that we're already gone. We're already on out. But what we're not understanding is they're in the transition for the next world. I wouldn't say order, because there's two. There's the kingdom of Yah that is being built and established, and then that's their kingdom. And this is the perfection of their kingdom. When we talk about iron and clay, let me talk about look. This is coming from our sister Chantel. I know I'm gonna probably get some copyright strikes because of the music and whatever. I don't even have anything monetized anyway. The only monetizations that I have on these videos are your super chats, your super stickers. That's it. So I appreciate it. I appreciate your support of this channel, especially going through YouTube. With that said, let me share this.
To Nero Core and 100 years of consciousness transference. A century without decay. And a century without competition. The gutter rats would beg to differ. The black market's booming with jailbroken soul stems. And how are you so well acquainted with what the gutter rats are partaking in, Torvald? Have you been prowling the meat stacks again? My men are head of security. It's my job to know when Nero Core substrates are being abused.
Ah, yes, spare me.
Gentlemen, 97% of living souls run on Nero Core wetware. No. Never in our species' history has an entity overseen such mindshare. If some stray goons or...
They're called patchrights.
Yes, patchrights.
The bastard!
If they wish to traffic neural stems, let them. And security will see to it that these strays are neutered.
This is all so tiresome. Yes. You promised us a curiosity.
My apologies, darlings. Bring him in. An unmodified human, a complete biological baseline, and naturally, your dessert for the evening.
Let me go on to the next one. I'll bring you on in, Sister Chantel. Let me go on to this next one. Oh, so much to digest, pun intended. Woo! All right, here we go.
You engineered your species to extinction. You let machines think for you, speak for you, dream for you. You outsourced memory, instinct, and desire until not a single thought was your own. Then you buried your flesh in metal. You opened your skulls to seal circuits inside and rewrote your genome to purge the animal within. You replaced your bones with alloys and traded tissue for code. But with every upgrade, Something was lost. The tremble of breath, the rhythm of blood, the ache of being. Yet you kept carving away, too busy chasing perfection to notice what had been erased. Soon no cells remained to rot, and no spirit was left to stray. This time you did not perish in fire or war. You became ghosts inside your own machines, with nothing left to bury and no bloodline to recall. Only the residue of a species overwritten by its own design.
Wow. Well, Sister Chantel, I hope you know it's only 6:47 in the morning here, and nobody wants to see all that craziness at 6:47 in the morning, Eastern Standard
Shalom,
Time.
everyone. Shalom, everyone. Well, if this hasn't woken you up, I don't know what will. Both literally, spiritually, and figuratively. I saw this on Sabbath, Shabbat. I just went onto YouTube and I kind of scrolled down on my television. I scrolled down to the shorts and I saw this. I was like, oh, this looks interesting. Let me see what this is about. And it was the second one that I watched, the second cycle of humanity.
Mhm.
When I watched that, I felt, to say that I trembled to my core.
Did it punch you in your spiritual gut?
It really did. It wasn't just the voice, it was everything, even what he said, because it was so true. And I kept thinking about how the wording is literally it's an extension of Revelation, where it talks about how you can, was it? Sorry, where it talks about how you, there's no salvation once you take this mark, and you watch this.
Not be able to find it. That's
right. Right, and listening to what it said about how no spirit remains, like how there's nothing, no flesh left to rot, no spirit left to stray, nothing exists. I just that was terrifying to me. Borgification, exactly. I don't even even.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go on.
Well, I was going to add on to that. Yeah, no, go ahead. I was going to add on to that.
No, go.
I was going to let our brother Rojo, just making sure Rojo was good, Rojo, do you have the passphrase like Dave Chappelle? We're gonna talk about that later. Sorry, we're going to talk about that later.
Rojo! Oh my gosh, it has been an age. Bro, I was starting to think that somebody caught you. You still good?
Hey, it was the 3 RC Atlas that got me.
Yeah.
Man, it's so good to hear your voice.
And your cousin too. I thought we were gonna be going up on Ducati spaceship on 24s. I was like, listen, I was here in Tampa on top of the roof. Downtown, I was trying to say, I'm here for you, aliens. Aliens. Malakim, I'm here for you. I was breaking down,
Cares, you see, you're being fly with that. Now, if your behind would have got beamed right on up.
I have beamed on up. I would have said, I have been translated like Enoch. Like Elijah. Thank you, Father Yah, for taking me from this cruel world. Oh, God.
Man, it is, man. Have you been seeing how Crucial is getting out here, man?
Yeah.
Hey, look, I don't care what nobody say. The Orange Man, Captain Tangerine, He's our hammer. The Most High put a hook in his jaw, and he's doing our dirty work for us.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. It's getting crazy. But I want to come back to here the transhumanism cycle because understand that's actually what we're going through.
Mhm.
That's now what we're looking at in terms of. Let me get you. If you could turn the background down, brother Eric, appreciate it. Thank you. Think about what's being said. Think about what Hegseth just said a couple of days ago when it came to the not just the military, but Americans in general. What did he say? He said that we're dumb and fat. We're stupid and fat.
No, they are.
Well,
The 95% of our people ain't dumb.
well, I'm gonna say no. We're 95% of our people were not dumb, but when I'm working in that school system, a lot of our people are not very healthy.
No. So that's by their
And
design.
it is, and I'm afraid these folks they come on through, and our people. And again, I told you last year I dealt with somebody being knocked out, and this kid, this student, he was about 13, 14 years old. He was about 300 pounds. He was bigger than me, 300 pounds.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You see, no. It's different here, Sister Chantel. I didn't see many fat people. Excuse me. I didn't see many large, hefty folks. If anything, I was a large, hefty person over in the UK. But you see what I'm saying?
Well, there's some around, but
And by
not.
and by American standards, I'm of normal girth. In American standards. Over the UK standards, oh no.
But again, your government is trying to kill you. Actually, they're not trying to kill you. They just want you dependent on their system, so that the system is able to recycle itself. You eat the crap, and then they
let me
funnel you through the
bring this.
pharmacia.
Let me break this on down because you want to know what the funny thing is I was having this discussion and something in my spirit even last week when I was talking with the students in the classroom, because they have like a really a lackadaisical attitude. It's demonic. It is demonic. And I said, Father, do not let that attitude rest on me. Don't let that spirit. I said, I rebuke it, and And in my spirit, there are some things I want to say, but I'm like, I can't say it. But I'm like, man, I said, I was getting ready to tell them, like, they want you dumb because they're going to try to eat you.
Mm-hmm.
You are the new livestock.
You saw that.
You are the new livestock. Do you see all that genetic engineered, especially all the unclean foods and animals, the blue lobster?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? All of these
Soylent
things.
Green.
It's exactly. Go ahead, brother.
What they call that long pig?
Shalom, brother Karras. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Blessings
Shalom,
to the
Eric.
channel. Blessings to the chat. Sister Santel, Wagwan.
Wagwan, brethren.
Everything cook up.
Yeah.
Hey, Rojo, we thought we was gonna have to put an APB out on you, boy.
hey, bro, Eric Tinsley, let me tell you, man, I've been going through it. You know what? I'm gonna show you how my faith is. I already had one subscription with Brother Karras, as far as supporting the Q2UA. And I said, you know what? My money got funny. I said, you know what? I'm gonna double down. I'm gonna open up another subscription and give to that brother so he knows that I'm still around. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you, Eric. I can't wait till we all meet up
Yeah,
because
man.
we're going to have a drinking party. It's all going to be on me, but it's all going to be in good fun. We're all going to protect each other. We're going to have each other's backs. I'm just waiting for that day, brother. I'm just waiting for that day to meet you, to meet Karis, Sister Chantel, Garth, who I heard had TD, traveler's diarrhea. Yes, Karis, I listened to the playback.
Oh, put my brother on blast. No pun intended. Yeah, don't put him
Well,
on blast.
No, that's not funny. You weren't in Garth's shoes. I saw Garth. He had to listen. I hate to put y'all out there, Garth. I'm sorry, but Garth had to be rescued by
No.
a big fan, and I thought when they brought in the Coca-Cola, I thought they were going to do a Coca-Cola IV drip in Burkina Faso. I was going to say, and that's some craziness.
well, speaking of parties, I wasn't going to miss this one. I had to jump on. The old gang is back together again.
Yeah.
Minister Rick, how are you, bro?
Well, this class reunion has gotten off to a roaring start here. that shock therapy you put up with that video, I tell you.
Didn't it? Yeah. Look, I gotta show this. I'm gonna show these again for the people entering, so they understand what we're saying. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the like button. We gotta get this algorithm up because if you see that, we gotta save people from being dessert.
The Electrical
Okay.
Negro 2.0.
Nah, it ain't no Negro this time.
But I did like the fact that they have one of us, well, at least one of us in appearance in there. But you know, there's always going to be one,
There's
and it
always
might
gonna
not
be
even be us.
one. There exactly because it shows you in this new kingdom. I'm gonna tell you this. When they say flee, right? Not everybody is going to flee. That's gonna be so you're gonna have not a large remnant, but you're gonna have some of the people stay. The ones that are staying are the ones that will be deemed acceptable. And I say they're acceptable would be like their celebrity class. They're those that have done and taken their oath, because then the next step of that oath, right? As I was talking about that show, Him, and that movie, Him, the next step of that oath is then you are going to mix your blood. See, that was to me, that was the lollipop test. And the lollipop test is going to then it's an iteration. Not everything's going to go at once. Everybody thinks that, oh, it's just going to happen just like this or just like that. No, it doesn't. It's going to take its period of time. And then in that period of time, as it transitions over, via cycles, well, this is what that next cycle is going to be. And let me replay this for our folks coming in.
To Nero Core and 100 years of consciousness transference. A century without decay and a century without competition. The gutter rats would beg to differ. The black market's booming with jailbroken soul stems. And how are you so well acquainted with what the gutter rats are partaking in, Torvald? Have you been prowling the meat stacks again? My men are head of security. It's my job to know when Nero Core substrates are being abused.
Ah, yes, spare me.
Gentlemen, 97% of living souls run on Nero Core wetware. Never in our species' history has an entity overseen such mindshare. If some stray goons or...
They're called patchrights.
Yes, patchrights.
The bastard!
If they wish to traffic neural stems, let them. And security will see to it that these strays are neutered.
This is all so tiresome. Yes. You promised us a curiosity.
My apologies, darlings. Bring him in. An unmodified human, a complete biological baseline, and naturally, your dessert for the evening.
I had to leave it on that picture.
Listen, if the fallen ain't telling on themselves what they have planned for us, I'm telling you, man.
Well,
The ignorant
Karis,
just gonna stay ignorant.
Karis, have you heard research that? I mean, we've been calling it a test, and it was a test on a certain level, but that spike protein is proving to have a staying power, and they've said that it's transferred through sperm now. So somebody who didn't get the vaccine has sex with somebody who did get the vaccine, and it's actually it's traveling across it's in sperm. It's pervasive. I have some
Yeah, it
supplements.
was a genetic mutation. That's all
We
that
we
was.
knew this was happening though.
It was a genetic mutation, and then you have to have a trigger event. We knew the trigger event because why? Because what are they trying to do? They're trying to have their blood compatible with what is happening. This is it. Okay, so I'm going to tell you this. We'll see this in about another 20, 30 years, if that. I'm going to say maybe about 10, 15 years. Because why? Because again, what's getting ready to happen in war, landscape will change. Nations will change. You
People
see
will
the
change.
exactly. You see the neocore. What's going to end up happening? Well, to be quite honest, what is a kingdom? A kingdom is just a institution that can provide the necessary framework and construct for international trade. That's all a kingdom is. So if you have your security, you have the construct, well, that's a kingdom. So then what will then happen to the United States and really the rest of the world? Well, understand, even all these other nations, they're just really corporate entities of who? Of Rome.
Yep.
So what then happens under that? That's why they're trying to make sure that you have the secretism, all these other different things. They're now flipping the switch because now what they're getting ready to do, and Canadian Prepper was just talking about this a few hours ago. They're now getting ready to get rid of the START treaty. It's already gone. But the other treaties, February 5th, that goes away. Remember, they're always in a time of war. What days? February and March. That's their Mars. That's their time of Mars. That's their time of Aries. And I can give you plenty of examples from the invasion in Iraq, the invasion of Ukraine, you name it.
So we've already had the first stage of biological warfare,
Mm-hmm.
and that mRNA, basically you became a COVID factory. That was on its face, that was idiocy. To what we're going to do is have your body reproduce the disease, and then you will be able to then you'll build the antibody cells against the disease, and then it was just idiocy to do that, and a lot of people went for it, and I thought maybe, well, that's just a test, and it's not actually the mark of the beast, but it's leaving a mark. It's leaving some type of mark on you.
It's the primer. That's what it is. It's a primer. It's to prepare your body, to engineer your body in preparation. I was thinking about this, and I keep going back to what Yeshua said, as it was in the days of Noah. What did they do in the days of Noah? There needs to be a catalyst. Look, I'm gonna say this, yeah.
Why was not all humanity saved? Well, and it said that Noah and his family were what? Were pure.
Perfect.
Why
in
is
their
that?
generations. Perfect in their
perfect.
generations.
There's a group of people that we know, Sister Gates Holder and some other people as well, have shown certain videos of certain bloodlines. Now, these bloodlines have been engineered to accept an injection of certain, I mean injection, I don't mean medically injected, but an injection of a new strain, a new coding, genetic coding. And I kept thinking, what if they're trying to do that? We're not only just food. Look, remember what the Bible says. All these curses that are on you are going to be on them, but it also means everybody else. The Most High says He's going to remove us and He's going to cleanse our body. Right now, we're removed. What happens to the rest of the world? What happened to us? The Bible says that they will consume us. For everything, we are a natural resource to them. Not only just our bodies, not only in giving birth to them because they need they need an injection of natural blood, but also like not only just our artistry, our economy, our technology, everything that we do, we drive society forward, right? Not only is it just that, but they've done everything to us. Now, what if this is coming for everybody else? The same thing that they did to us is what's going to happen to them. That they are using this new system, this disease was the catalyst or the primer to allow them, the fallen, to come in as the new gods of earth, as a means to we need to be one with everybody, so that like we are not only just one with us, but one with AI, one with this is the actual transhumanistic mindset. It's not just about just biomaterial and the mechanical or the mechanic coming together, but it's also something more insidious, something that has always wanted to be ever present within us, because it's His way of becoming. Look, everything that He does is, like I said yesterday, it's a way to imitate the Most High. The Most High is naturally imbued in His creation, all of creation, right? Just for some have less of His influence because of certain adding or certain things that's in their genetics. But everybody has a certain understanding of what is right and wrong, and that comes from the Most High. The more that your bloodline or this your group engages in darkness, the less you will hear His voice. And so what Satan wants to do is to literally turn off the Most High's voice, so that only His voice is only ever present. And the only way that he can do that is by infusing humanity with the mechanical, and then being able to inject himself into, so that after several generations, when we are in our city and in our space, who's coming against us? Who's coming against us? The old is now died out, and the new generation, which is purely Nephilim driven, mechanical, something to what you're seeing on the screen. Well, not him, but you know what I mean. Something to that, and that's what's going to come to oppose the Most High and oppose His city and oppose His people, which we know about. The war scrolls, where they come and we fight. We lose 3, they lose 3, and then the Most High comes and settles it. So that's my take. That's what I see. Yeah.
So, Brother Karras, what you think? You think Yacoba might have a little input on this? You think we could get him? Think we could get him to join the party?
I don't know.
Yacoba did the video as well.
I told you have to say it 3 times.
I told you have to say it 3 times.
Yacoba.
Brother Eric, can you turn down your headphones in the background?
Yacoba.
Your headphones in the background.
Your
Yeah,
brother
because we're getting
Karis.
Oh,
an
I don't know.
echo.
Let me see. Hold on. Your brother Karen.
That's not me.
No. Go ahead, Minister Rick.
Uh, Joel 3:20. But
Mm-hmm.
Judah shall dwell forever, and Jerusalem from generation to generation, for generation. For I will cleanse their blood that I have not cleansed, for the Lord dwelleth in Zion. This is more. So he's got a process already waiting for us. So how he's
Yeah,
going to
because some of
cleanse
our people has taken that out of ignorance, and not ignorance in a negative, but you
and
trust
coercion and
people
coercion.
exactly, and
Oh, you're telling me that Juvenile was able to do his thing of backs that thing up?
Well, I had to write religious exemption, give my brother's job a theology lesson
Mm-hmm.
on religious exemption. Why my religion so and so and so and so. I'm going about you should not puncture the skin with that. I'm going Old Testament all around. So he had, but he worked for the city of Chicago, and it
Hey,
was it
kind
was
kind of
it was
off
something.
subject. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
No, I was done.
Oh, now I'm just gonna say, kind of off subject. Speaking of AI, have y'all seen the Candyman's video lately?
Mm-mm.
the what? Sorry.
The Candyman. Well, that's what me and Jacoba calls him. Dante Fortson.
Oh yes.
Oh no, I haven't
Yes.
actually.
I have. I've seen bits of what he's been putting on out. And again, they really can't hide. They're not able to hide from that anymore. And the reason that they're not able to hide from that, okay, think about what Candace Owens is saying. And yeah, we could pivot to that. But before we pivot to that, I do want to share the second video of this because to me, this is an interesting one. Not to scare people, but this is an interesting one that Sister Chantel had scared me with. Or I mean, not scared. I'd been a little taken back.
I have to
Here
wake
we
you
go.
up, so.
Species to extinction. You let machines think for you, speak for you, dream for you. You outsourced memory, instinct, and desire until not a single thought was your own. Then you buried your flesh in metal. You opened your skulls to seal circuits inside and rewrote your genome to purge the animal within. You replaced your bones with alloys and traded tissue for code. But with every upgrade, something was lost. The tremble of breath, the rhythm of blood, the ache of being. Yet you kept carving away, too busy chasing perfection to notice what had been erased. Soon no cells remained to rot, and no spirit was left to stray. This time you did not perish in fire or war. You became ghosts inside your own machines, with nothing left to bury and no bloodline to recall. Only the residue of a species overwritten by its own design.
I have to
Uh,
say, one of the most remarkable things in there is when they say fire or war, because you know that that's one of their judgments. And
Karis,
then, and
the
then,
scripture. Oh, sorry.
let me, yeah, and then
Man
when
will
they,
desire. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
but let me finish this on up because, and then when they said this, that there's no bloodline to recall. Why is that? Because they destroyed their very essence. They're no longer a creation or even an amalgamated creation. They're just now
I
a
meet some.
fallen angel design. Go ahead, Minister
That's
Rick.
what got me.
Just one quick scripture. The men will desire to die, but death will elude them. You
Mm-hmm.
know. So I was looking at this. I was just thinking of that one scripture. They just
That
nothing in there.
that that is what got me as well. That you won't even be able to recall your own bloodline. That when I heard that, I'm like, wow, you're not even. And when it talked about how your bones Everything about you is synthetic. There is nothing left. Walking ghost. You don't even have a spirit anymore.
Mm,
You're nothing more than an algorithm of your former self.
mm. You don't even have, yeah. How do you even have consciousness?
Well, you
You
remember they were
don't. You become the thing that you created. You become AI while AI is trying to aspire to be human. How crazy is that? that's
well, you know, they
that's
were talking about
sick.
downloading your memory. There are people doing that now. They're talking about downloading your whole memory and everything cognitive into this new structure. And there are people that are freezing. I mean, they're making there's this predictive program. They're showing us what's coming.
Why do you
Oh, has
think there's
anybody
such a
seen
big
Black Mirror?
deal? Why do you think it's
Has
such a
anybody?
big deal with the
Yeah.
with the data centers? Why do you think they're trying to get their data centers online? What do you think is going to happen?
You need huge memory to, I mean, Yakoba and these people that into computers can tell you, but it takes a whole lot of memory to what's online of the human brain. So they need these huge terabytes and all this energy to store all this security data so they know everything, but also it may be people's downloading their whole minds into this thing. We're going to be hooked into this matrix center there. You know, that's going to go, it's going to be the Borg collective computer, I guess.
Well, this
Collective
is why they need
consciousness.
this is
Go
why they
ahead.
need the quantum computer. That's
Hmm.
the reason. That's the reason behind it. It's their version of heaven to download people. It's exactly like was it 100, right?
Hmm.
And it's also, I don't know if anybody's seen Black Mirror. There was an episode with Salma Hayek. What was it called? Oh, was it Joan is Awful or something? I mean, if you haven't seen it, you need to see it. It's on Netflix. It's it literally is explaining everything. Like why, like this quantum computer that they have, which they have different versions of themselves. Like these actors and actresses, they loan out or they sell their likeness to a company. The company literally is called Strawberry. No, Streamberry, I think. Instead of Netflix, its whole layout is Netflix. It's just the name is different, and it basically allows them to use the likeness. So it's genetically, not genetically, right? Sorry, it's oh gosh, computerized image, CGI versions of the actress, of everyone. And your phone, this woman, who she thinks is actually real at the time, she basically said, "Oh, I wish I was, my own character or a main character in a movie," and she gets her wish. Basically, everything she does is happening almost instantaneously, and it's being projected onto Netflix. Now, why that's happening is that her phone is picking up everything she says, everything that happens around her, her phone or anything that has Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or whatever listening capabilities is picking that up and feeding it into Streamberry, which it's then acting out using Salma Hayek's image as her, but it's the same name. She's wearing the same clothes, and people know it's her because the hairstyle is the same. Her name is the same, and everything that is happening to her and the people she's interacting with is the same. The actors may appear differently, but the names are the same as well. And it's crazy, but it's like I see that happening. Oh my gosh, it's just really crazy.
They were developing this along. You remember at Max Headroom, some of the older, that character that shows you where the technology has gone. You know, even
I remember Max Headroom, and you're right, brother.
yeah,
Mm.
with this a new movie about the Avatar series. That literally that's what it is. It's an avatar of you, and its characteristics in music. They're using AI, and they're trying to say, well, you can take the likeness of a singer and have this person sing that song and put it. So it's out. I mean, they're so far advanced along, and we catch the tail end of stuff. If when we see it, how far advanced they have it.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So they're what the carrier said, military like 40 or 50 years ahead of us, however many years ahead of where we are. So it's here. I mean, well, they've got Beast Tech, they've got New World Order Tech, they've got the image of they've got the technology, and they just waiting for the time to put these things in play for the
Well, the
deception and
the
everything.
the question is, as we had stated, for last year, or excuse me, yesterday, matter of fact, um, they have the technology, but who actually will manage the technology? And I would argue that would be through the East. The East will manage the technology, and the reason I say that is because people don't want to actually hear this, but this is going to be the truth because it's not me. This is actually what the word says. Look, they're going to take the L, and they're going to go into captivity. Now, their captivity is going to be a captivity of the East. It's going to be a really bad captivity.
I agree. Double unto them double.
Well, you
Hmm.
know something, Karis? The borrower is servant to the lender. And this country here, the U.S., the biggest creditors, it's number one is Japan. After that is China, and another one is just the next one. Sister Chantel, is Great Britain. These are the people basically that own, our debt, as far as nations. So it that makes
Well,
sense, Karis.
well, think about this right now. Think about this right now. You're saying that right now. That used to be the model, right? Now let's understand what's happening. Um, the borrowers, or excuse me, the lenders, matter of fact, they're selling their bonds, which is the debt. They're selling the debt that they had on the United States. They're liquidating because the US isn't worth what people think that the US is worth. We're not worth the money that people thought that we had been worth. And that is something that is frightful for a lot of people because they're thinking that, well, um, we have all this and have all that. No, we're self eating. We're eating our own debt, which means we're not bringing any funds in, which means that if you don't have a debt connection with these other nations, then what's stopping these other nations from invading you?
Nothing, exactly. And especially when you don't even have any friends and your president is alienating you from the few allies that you do actually have.
Bingo. I'm going to
Well,
turn the debt back in because when I turn that debt back in, I'm going for everything. Because your dreams and your promises and your make believe, I'm no longer buying it.
Well, that was the smoke and mirrors that we had been selling. The quote unquote, the American dream is what is sold. It's a dream, and and the part of the Negro people, part of that dream, you know, we were kind of that the happy Negro or the performer or the things like that. Everybody, the Michael Jordan, our sports, everything we contributed to the dream to make this place really look good, put a polish on it, the music, the culture, and everything like that to really make this place attractive that attract people to come here. And that so I mean we help sell that dollar. Now that we've opted out, hey, it's like it's been laid bare of what this country actually is.
Well, exactly, and that's why. Look, this is why they're on YouTube. They're now stating the obvious facts that all of a sudden, right? They saw the light. They see how things are. They now have an empathy and a sympathy towards black folks and people of color, right? All this other, even their terminologies, and nobody's moved. Nobody's moved, and now they're asking, "Oh well, can you side with us? We need allies. We need this. And the question then that I'm glad that our people are asking is, why do you want this to return back to normal? Because normalcy means that we're continuing on the bottom. We're continually on the bottom.
Exactly.
I don't want normalcy. All right, cool. Yeah, that's your problem.
Help us save the caste system.
Exactly. That's what they want.
You know
Why
what?
would we want that?
It's raining. It's raining fire and brimstone, especially in America. And what we Negroes are doing is taking our sticks with sharp points on them, some graham crackers, some marshmallows, and some Hershey bars, and we roasted s'mores with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not touching us. I mean, the Most High has his wings over us.
Yeah. Look.
They're like, can we come to the cookout, please? Have you seen them videos of them coming like saying, was it reaction to black white people eating black food? I'm like, really? You guys only just discovered this?
I've seen that.
That is hilarious to me. I'm like, how are you all going to cope when we're gone? Like, for real, if you're really getting, if you're really getting orgasmic over just food,
don't worry. With the unmodified human, they'll have dessert.
Exactly. They are the dessert. What are you talking about? They will be the dessert. With a little modified cherry on top, a genetically modified cherry on top that looks suspiciously like the shape of a strawberry.
Well, the Campbell Soup Company has revealed, oh, that's not actually chicken in your chicken soup. So
yeah, they
it's
did.
all,
my
it's all a
God,
matter.
people were upset.
You don't know, and what they were doing with aborted fetuses and things like that, and the vaccines. So I mean, it's not that not as far fetched as you would think. We really don't know what we're eating.
Come on.
We have Campbell's soup over here as well, actually.
Well, yeah, I think
there's a lot of stuff I've heard. Oh, go ahead, Karis. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Rojo. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say there's a whole lot of stuff I've purged from my diet, and Campbell's is one of those brands. And the one thing I will say, y'all better watch some of that cereal that y'all are eating, because I had gotten a link from a reliable source, and what you're thinking is sweet, that's coating those cereals, you would be shocked. Just think of the movie Soylent Green. I'll leave it there.
So, family, I'm sorry. Go ahead,
brother Eric. No, go ahead, brother Eric.
So I was thinking about something, brother Minister Rick said, and I've been thinking about this AI. Right now, if it's not sent in already, which I believe it is, it will be soon. And I think, me, I don't have to be right, but I think whatever they market it or they perpetuate it as an algorithm, right? Mm-hmm. But I believe it's a familiar spirit. Mm-hmm. And whatever familiar spirit that's assigned to you, it's going to start telling you things about you that nobody else know. Mm-hmm. And people are going to be like, wow, this thing is really, so on and so forth, really good. And people are going to start entertaining it more and more. Mm-hmm. You understand?
Because they're entertainment.
That's going to become their God. That's going to become
Doctrines
their
and
everything.
Demons. Go ahead. Yeah,
exactly.
Go ahead.
You got it. You understand? So
you make a machine for these spirits to inhabit.
Right. Exactly. There you go. There you go. And sooner or later, this is what's coming to now. Like Brother Kara said, is it in the next 30 years? Is it in the next 40 years? Is it in the next 10? Whatever. But things is rapidly
is it 30 months?
So fast.
Is it 30 months? I mean, to be
honest,
what is
30 days?
What do they call it when AI has a hiccup? Just say something totally off the wall. What, a hallucination? Hallucination. Yep.
Hey, well, what if the you are the body for this spirit to inhabit? Especially when they, as I've said, priming you for something else.
There's a golem.
Yeah, the golem. You're the golem.
Okay.
Well, they did in Genesis 6. I mean, they got some bodies.
So I think everything can be abused. You understand? And if you don't know what you're getting yourself into, you find yourself playing with a Ouija board, and and the demons are talking to you, and you start getting more and more into demonic activity. But if you use it and limit yourself to how you're using it for whatever project or whatever situation you got going on to benefit you, and like Brother Yakoba said, you tame it, you keep it honest. Brother Teo rather said, you keep it honest. You don't let it drag you down the rabbit hole. Use it for what you need it for, and then cut it off.
Well, we have the Ruach HaKodesh. You know, it says,
Right.
believe not every spirit, but test the spirits to see if they
Try
be of
every
God.
spirit to make sure
Yep.
they're of the Most High.
Yep.
But don't be putting brain chips in your head. Talk about I'm gonna tame that spirit. Nah, that thing's gonna tame you. Sorry, that's not gonna happen.
Exactly. You know, but some people are gonna fall for it. I mean, if it says if it were possible, even the elect would be deceived.
Mm-hmm.
You
Would you
understand?
like to know more? Get the chip in you. Would you like to know
don't
more?
be putting interfaces in your body. You know, when they start to do that. You know, don't let them hardwire you for it.
Yeah, that look. You know that the reality is that you know we're seeing the bread and circus. We're seeing the games, but we're not understanding this is what it's leading up to. To have microprocessors up in your brain, to be connected to the source, to be connected to all this other stuff. This is it. This is where their goals lie for humanity. And the reason I say all this is because let me tell you this. Did anybody know that there is a Russia African Union cooperative that happened over the last couple of days that took place in Cairo, Egypt?
Well, Russia and Africa has been having a relationship for a while now. If something more significant happened, like you said, I didn't hear about it.
Well, the
you're not going to hear
by
about
the media over here. I assume
you're not going to hear about it. And again, as I've been telling, you know, you all look when people say, "Well, what are we going to do? How are we going to look?" Do you not think that the Most High knows how He's getting ready to rescue us? Because it is a rescue mission. And I know that a lot of our people may not understand that this is the biggest rescue mission ever. It's just that when you have people like Nicki Minaj on stage. Now, I thought that was funny that, you know, she let it slip that, you know, saying that Vance was an assassin of sorts in their turning point. How horrible is that?
What's going on? I have not been watching.
Me neither. I haven't. I don't even.
Oh, I think. Let me see if I can find this on.
Hey, Kevin. Speaking of that, before you get to that video, speaking of that, do you know how the Ruach HaKodesh will make people reveal themselves? Erica Kirk was doing a speaking engagement at Turning Point, and she said, "I want to thank somebody and somebody else," and then she said, "You know, because you know they had the perfect grift." And then she had to catch herself, and she said, "Gift, grit."
Freudian, what's it? Freudian slip.
Yes, there you go.
That woman freaks me the heck out. I don't care what anyone says.
Man, you know what?
Eyes,
I'm with
I
you,
don't
sister.
like him.
She
I don't
looks
like him.
She looks
demonic.
Look at that picture. Her eyes are glowing. And if y'all seen the movie Sinners, I mean, yeah.
No, she's creepy. She's creepy.
Israel, if somebody did a study on that color eyes, that blue eyes, and showed where it originated from, and in the Khazarian area, and when it first, I mean, he did a whole thing on it. You could check his research or what he's saying.
And notice that
definitely.
have you noticed that the internet is dragging her about her eyes? Oh, her eyes, they're so good. Like, I found it really fascinating because before that, people would have said a few years ago, she would have been adorned. Like, oh my gosh, the blonde hair and the blue eyes. It's almost like we're seeing a complete shift. They're not talking about that look, that aesthetic in a
Well,
positive anymore.
the light
And
of the
I've always
body is the
felt
eye, and if the eye be single, you can see spiritual things out of the eyes.
her eyes creep me out. They creep me out.
That
I'm not
woman
even
is
joking.
Let
I
me
swear.
give me a second. Let me show this, and then I'll get Garth on in here. Oh, let me
Oh
share
God,
this.
I'm so sorry, God.
Let me share this. Hopefully, you all can hear this.
Brother G,
All
what's
right.
up?
Let me get this to full mass. And away we go.
Fair use, fair use.
Fair use, yes.
You have amazing role models like our handsome, dashing president. And you have amazing role models like the assassin.
She seems robotic.
It's our vice president.
How inappropriate can you get?
Hello, family. How are you all doing this morning? This is a great group of people. I just
What's
love
going on? Brother Garth is the black
Shalom, brother God.
Thank you for having me on your broadcast.
God. I'm
Big Awakenings.
the Pepto, brother.
This is a great podcast, the best ever.
Oh boy!
Isn't it just the greatest? Isn't it just the best?
It's the best. It's the greatest.
No other
do you guys
podcast
do
on
that?
the
Do you
internet?
actually know what the real meaning for AI is? It means amazing idea because I thought of it. We're gonna win. This is the best
Everything is
country ever.
awesome. Everything is true when you're part of the team.
Oh my goodness! That came out of her mouth. Look, that is something that you witnessed. He's, and the funny thing is, it's like you can tell that that's the Most High right there, laughing at the wicked.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The assassin, man, oh man!
Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks.
Come on now.
Carrie, say that again because you were a witness. She was a witness to what Erica Kirk did. So yeah, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh.
Yeah, let me try to redo this because for Instagram you have to.
That Erica Kirk, she has great genes. Look at those blue eyes.
Garth, you scared me, bro.
Handsome, dashing president. And you have amazing role models like the assassin, J.D. Vance, our vice president.
Assassin.
She lingered. She let it stay. She didn't let off. She left people on the hook. The assassin.
Assassin.
Everybody was like, ah, J.D. Vance.
That was
pregnant pause. There was an abortion.
Oh my God.
She just basically said she just said it like it is.
And she's sitting up there looking robotic and like, what's that character? Pyra from
Elvira.
Elvira.
She look like the black Elvira, man. Man.
Crazy.
Oh my goodness.
Speaking of that, do you know who else looks half hybrid, like half person, half something else? And I hate to say it, don't get mad at me, but that girl out of South Africa, Tyler, she don't look exactly right either.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
Whatever.
Here's another one. I like these ones on X because
Governor Newsom. tweets. Be fun. Unless you want to read it.
On the nearest jet ski and let that beautiful hair blow in the wind. It'll make you happier than this race that you will not win. Enjoy life.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna try to find. It may not be on X because how they censor a lot of things, lots of things. Oh, here they go. It's caught on tape.
J.D. Vance, our vice president. It's like the assassin J.D. Vance. Models like the assassin J.D. Vance.
I'm sorry. That's too funny.
Karis is scratching his petty bone right now.
Pate.
What's missing? What's missing is an audience shot of people's jaws dropping when they said that. You know, the camera's focused on her.
Oh, she done gave Candace Owens fire. Oh, they think Candace going crazy. Oh, Ben Shapiro.
I don't.
Oh my goodness.
This is the
This
best
whole thing
political
with
theater
Candace
ever.
Owens. This whole thing with Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro and TPUSA and all of this.
It's fake.
No, nobody in the black community gives it about Candace Owens because she said everything that she wanted to say. But I gotta say, regardless of it, I don't like her either. I really do not like her. But seeing them coming for her, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of rubs me the wrong way because I still see somebody that looks like me being attacked by all of that. But me personally, I'm like, you know what? Just let them burn each other, all of them.
Why do you think that's the case?
She's a muckraker. You know, I mean, that's what she. I mean, hey, you can have. Hey, Judas had a job. You know, you heard of the phrase, "It's a dirty job, but somebody got to do it." That was that was Judas's line. You know.
Nah,
Jesus told him, go. Jesus told him, go do what you must do quickly.
Hey, sister Chantal, let me pull your coattail real quick, sister. I feel you what you're saying about them coming at Candace Owens, but remember, there were a lot of people, the last people that Malcolm X saw before he became.
I know.
He looked just like. I mean, I'm just saying.
But still, she's probably getting and will get her comeuppance, and that, the Most High will deal with her in His own special brand of way. But I'm not going to lie, it still rubs me the same way. I don't care about that. Regardless of anything, she's still one of us, and the way I see it is that let us deal with her and let the Most High deal with her. I don't like to see them dealing with our people. I don't, because we've seen that many times.
But that's
Candace
the emotional
Owens
buy-in.
is a catalyst in our
Yes.
enemies fighting each other.
Yes.
She's a catalyst in our enemies fighting each other. And that's
I
turnabout
agree.
because they've had people that do that to separate us. And she's causing that war over there between supposed or with everything like that. And again, and she's taking the heat off of us because if they're focusing on Candace, and we got to get Candace on, that's less time they have for the people that are really doing it. So that's good. She's occupying, she's running the point. She's drawing fire. She's good.
I did say, I don't know if anyone does remember, but I did say, I think at some point, Candace Owens is literally going to, I don't know if I said this to you, Karis, but I said Candace Owens is going to be, she's going to be quite instrumental with the Most High. I really do believe that. And I believe that she is probably doing His work. You don't have to like the woman. You don't even have to respect the woman. But everybody has a purpose. Everybody has a purpose. Even those amongst our enemies. If the Most High gave Nebuchadnezzar a purpose, if the Most High gave the Pharaoh of Egypt a purpose to expedite his will, then why not one of our own to do the same? That's how I see it. I know she's a catalyst for them, and I agree with that. But I still don't like to see, because it's the optics for me. I don't like to see them come in, because you know that everything that they say and they fling at her, especially if there's a racial kind of, you know that they don't just, remember, they don't just see just one individual, they see all
Well,
of us.
God's
So whenever
God's
they're
gifts are
talking to
without
her,
repentance. She's showing Hebrew excellence in pursuing her ends. She's doing
I
an
agree with that
excellent
too.
job. So she's still got the
She
gift, and
is
she's using that against them.
against
So
them.
she's holding her own. I mean, don't cry for her. She's holding her own because she still has those gifts within her, and
Hmm.
God's gifts are without repentance. So she's using them for what she sees, and she's on another level, and God's on another level. He's got a place for you because God has God has figured all of us into this plan. We're all calculated in his calculus on how this thing can be done. And the good thing would be if it was for our benefit from the inside and we're operating with him. But it doesn't matter on the outside. They all have a role to play because it's this
Hmm.
thing is already done.
The Most High might have had her as a double agent from the
Yeah.
beginning. You never know.
Yeah,
It's
Exactly.
Reading between the lines.
could
here's
be.
go ahead, brother
Well,
ASAP,
she's
because I
been
want
saying
to.
some stuff. She's been saying some stuff about. Sorry, she's been saying some stuff about Ish and
Yeah,
about that. And then she was sorry. Go on, because yeah.
go ahead, brother ASAP, because
Well,
I
it's
wanna put
nice to
this
have
one in there.
sister Chantel back on. But reading between the lines, Candice Owens is on a revenge trail because she's
Mm-hmm.
very bitter about being fired
Yeah.
and very bitter about being publicly humiliated. But this is working in a manner which is benefiting our community because she's saying the things that we were saying and more. Some of it, I don't know how she gets away with it. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty certain that they'll put a target on her very soon just to keep her quiet because she's a very powerful influencer.
Mm-hmm.
And what she says not only drops in our community, but it drops in theirs, and it's been
Theirs,
very
yes.
effective.
Mm-hmm.
Shalom, brother Asaph.
Hey, Shalom.
Shalom, everybody. Wagwan.
See, over here
Wise
in this
elder.
side, and on these, YouTube spaces, we in the YouTube hood. You didn't know that, right? We're in the YouTube digital hood. Okay, ain't nobody coming over to the YouTube projects over here. You okay?
Well,
We in the jets
okay.
over here.
Well, hey,
All right?
hey, we be
You
in
know
the
what I'm
hood.
saying?
Hey,
You know what I'm
y'all
saying?
remember
We
this? Y'all remember the
just in
Suku
a
sat by
parking
the
lot.
door?
We just in a parking lot over by the trash cans, by the picnic table. Just barbecuing on up some things.
Pulling back some 40s.
Oh, this
You
definitely
know
the
what I'm
street. We street.
We in the
We
street.
street. We street.
Hey, brother
I just
Karis, can I say
that
something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, brother. Go ahead, brother Gar.
All right. This Friday, I'm going live at noon Eastern time on my channel, Faith and Fitness by Garth. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. I will put my channel in the chat. I only just came up here to say hello and to, plug my channel because I'm about to go to the gym and I have some things to do. But it was great to have, come up here and hear old voices. And maybe if you're still on, I'll come on later. But that's basically the purpose. I just came, to, like a pirate. I took over the ship and, went.
Brother G, you have no shame.
No, brother Garth, you have to restate that. As a pirate, you took over the Venezuelan oil tankers.
I took over your oil tanker. I took your oil tanker and made it my own. This is my platform now. This is a real show now.
Ready today.
It's on its way to Florida or Texas or maybe even the great state of Louisiana. I'm about to go to Greenland too. Greenland, they're still, do you know that it's really not green in Greenland? It's a lot of ice. It's a lot of ice. And we're not talking about ice agents. It's a lot of those too,
Well,
Denmark, they have problems with us. It's maybe ice agents. We're going to deport all those Denmarkians and Danes. Get them out of here. Danes
You know
down
Donald
the
Trump's
drain.
stream of consciousness, stream of unconsciousness.
Well,
On a
anyway,
serious
family,
note,
I'm going to put my channel in the chat. It's been great. This is a great podcast, but I made it greater. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.
God, anything you touch turns to platinum, bro.
Just
Brother
like a
Rajel.
For your
confident
service.
Hebrew.
There you go. All right.
On
Yeah.
a serious note,
Brother Karras, to put this Candace thing to bed, I was just thinking, just real quick. I think they would really like to take her down, but there's an uncertainty. They don't know how we will react. You know,
Yeah.
I think they
Yes.
don't know. She may have. It may be a Kyrie Irving situation. You know, when we're going to take him down, and all them folks showed up. They don't know they don't know, and that
Yeah, but
uncertainty
Minister Rick,
is just.
remember they was able to extort a Kyrie Irving for 500,000. You
Yeah, they
understand?
were.
So I think the Most High's hand is on her. I'm not saying I like her, but he can
I
use
do too.
anybody, and she has a purpose.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me get Brother Asaph in. Go ahead, Brother Asaph.
on a serious note, Candace Owens is a problem to that because they cultivated her to be a let me say a chocolate coated coconut for white supremacy, and then she just suddenly switched sides, and she's got traction on both sides, and that makes it difficult for them.
Wait, brother Asaph. Are you telling me that she was an almond joy that then turned salty?
I guess I'm a boomer.
I don't know what that is,
Oreo
but it
was
sounds
the
about
boomer
right.
term.
The almond joy, you know, is that a toasted crunchy? It got toasted crunchy. You know, we talk
Okay,
about she
with almond
turned
joy.
into a what are them Girl Scout cookies? Them
Oreo.
Samoas, the Samoas
Oreo.
cookies.
An
That
Oreo.
coconut got toasted. It got raw. It got used. It got burnt.
Yeah, Candace Owens is an Oreo, and then she got flipped, and now she's making Ben Shapiro look stupid,
Yeah.
and she's making everybody else look stupid, and she's putting out the history that we used to put out.
Oh, I know. I know.
And it's got more venom and more clout, and it sounds more convincing because it's coming from one of their top former influencers, and that is doing a hell of a lot of damage.
I thought we remember 3-4 years ago when we were saying this, we were all crazy.
Yeah.
Well, she's a tool, but the Most High is using.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that the Alpha Delta Lima people have not come after her?
No, they can't, but you want to know who they're about to come after, though? They're about to go after Dave Chappelle.
Yeah,
Oh.
because he said some stuff in his last comedy show when he was closing that was very inflammatory.
Ooh,
I'm sorry. I died. Yo, you know when you die, when you laugh so much, you feel like you're about to have a heart attack. It just starts getting numb. That's how much I was laughing. I said, "Oh my goodness!" And I'm sorry. The Falcon joke had me. Because
I'm telling you, he put a big target on his back with that one. With that last 30 minutes of his show, he killed it in the game. And I'm telling you, I think Candace Owens is feeling heat.
Oh my goodness!
But
I'm gonna have to go back.
His
and watch
one
it,
is
'cause I haven't seen it.
so done with such finesse that it's difficult to put a finger on it and you said this.
He's elegant with it. It's not like they do stuff like Trump says stuff and things like that, or even like Nicki Minaj. He's so elegant with it. You have to compliment him. It's like the tradition of the court jester being the only person who could really criticize the king because it was so wrapped up in the joke and humor that you had to get it. Everybody might not even pick up on it.
Well,
it's like anesthetic before tooth extraction.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, if you don't watch any other part, watch the last 30 minutes of it. You will have the code. What I'm saying, you will have a whiskey tango foxtrot moment.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he killed it. He put himself up there with that last 30 minutes. He put himself up there with Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor and Paul Mooney, in my opinion.
Squared.
Dick Gregory.
Squared.
Oh, yeah. It was. I'm gonna tell you this. That mess was funny. That mess was funny, but it was one of those things that you understand. Um, that was dangerous, and he knows that that's dangerous. You know what I'm saying? He knows that that's dangerous. I'm not saying it wasn't funny, but I'm just telling you.
Was this a series on Netflix? Because I didn't see it. I didn't hear about it.
Oh, it came out like yesterday.
He's
was it Monday or like Sunday or
Like,
Sunday
it
night?
came out 2 days ago, Sunday night, I
well,
think.
On
Yeah.
military
Netflix
terms,
or
Karis,
what
though.
channel?
Let me ask you in military
On
terms,
Netflix.
Karis.
Okay,
It's
I'm gonna
Netflix.
check it out.
If you got so many targets, though, that's what I'm saying. If they can't put all their fire on Candace. They can't put their fire on him. If this stuff, if you're being hit from all directions, you can't divide yourself up against all this. That it adds to the confusion. You know, they
And
can't
not only
concentrate
that,
on him because they're getting hit from so many other places.
they've lost political traction worldwide.
Yeah.
Hence that beach party, you know, because they've always got a tendency to do, let's say, inside jobs.
Well, didn't
Mm-hmm.
Dave Chappelle uh insulate himself? Didn't he build his own theater and his own performance venue and things like that? When he went through a time when he went away from them folks. He kind of put a bulwark behind himself where he's not as beholden or needful of them. Didn't he do things like that?
What he did was that he had basically created the ability to not be beholden to him. That's or to the system. Now, and that if you listen to his comedy show, he said, yeah, he said, I was getting flack for going to Saudi Arabia and UAE. He said, but I was more free. I was actually free to do the jokes. And yeah, the trans community is going to try and go after him because that Falcon joke just had me dying. I'm sorry. So you're going to have to watch. You going to have to watch that. But the reality is that you now are starting to see all of these entertainers, right, in this entertainment industry that is now at odds because they know who runs the show, but then if they try to censor, you see what I'm saying? Just like what they tried to do with 60 Minutes the other day, they censored 60 Minutes. They censored that thing. Why? Because they knew that there was only so much that they could do with the type of Trumpisms and things of that nature. So that's the reality of what we're seeing in this time, because it's a difficult situation for them to not be able to just take people on out. Hey, it's easy. Years ago, I'm going to say that years ago it was easy. Right now, not so much. It's not easy like that anymore.
It's like
They
they're
can't.
playing whack-a-mole.
Yeah, exactly. They just can't, strike with impunity now, right? That's not allowed to happen. They'll still try to strike, but they can't do it in a manner that is now very, very out in the open. So
Hey, Karen,
now, yeah, go ahead.
have you? I'll just real quick interjection. Have you noticed? I mean, lately that it is much harder for them to touch us. That it was so much easier for them to get at CK and threaten other people of his persuasion, but it's really difficult for them to get at us. I just want to interject that.
Oh yeah, because here's the thing. Here's the thing. As a people, and I know white people are going to get mad at this, but this is just the truth. It's the case. White people don't do anything. They don't. White people do something when it's black people that then start stuff. That's when they start getting, the um the courage to do things. It's only when we get things started. And now since we don't do that, and we haven't done that, and we have basically said no, now that's become a problem because we've said no.
Brother Rojo, I was just thinking in connection to what you said. I noticed, this is me. I noticed that even though now they're doing stuff to us, the Most High is not letting them get away with it like they used to.
Yeah.
In other words, they be taking major losses when they put their hands on us or do something wicked to us. They suffer major losses, and it's prominent people that we see getting taken out of their community. Now, people may not think it's connected, but I absolutely think it's connected.
Eric, you are batting 1,000, bro, because I wanted to go there, but because I thought I was the only one noticing it, you had made yourself a witness to my observations that I kept to myself, and I got to give you a perfect bullseye, split the apple right down the middle, blindfolded, because you're definitely right. Whenever they touch one of us, I don't care how least or less, whether we're some hobo or whatever, they touch one of us, someone really esteemed in their community gets, the axe. So
Yeah,
It's in
that's
the
that's
scripture.
nothing.
It's in
That's
the
the
scripture.
spirit. That's nothing but the spirit.
No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises up against you, thou shalt make ashamed.
Mm-hmm.
They can't go talking about us too much. It leaps off the pages of the Bible.
Not a
When we're in
dog
the
shall
zone.
wag his tongue or his tail or his paw or anything against us anymore and get away with it.
Yep.
Yeah, that and that is really their fear right now, is that there's too many. Look, I don't care where you're at, where you're sitting under. If you're under, um, Islam, if you're under, all sorts of things. Look, the spirit of the Most High is on His people.
Yes.
And that's what I always want us to be, very, very cognizant of, is that the spirit of the Most High is on His people. So we don't have to, um, we don't have to react as they want us to, because to be quite frank, the lack of a reaction is something that actually scares them.
Yeah, absolutely. They used to us protesting no justice, no peace. Oh yeah, they still doing the same. That is when we get quiet, they get nervous. And the fact that we're not out there doing all that foolishness, and because they keep baiting us. They keep you understand? They keep baiting us with something. They say these ninjas is not moving. They're not falling for it no more. Well, guess what? We don't have to, because the Most High, He's
This is
taking
what it
over.
looks like when you're running right with the Most High. He said, "I turned my face from you just for a little while." See, we were under 400 years stand down mode, and they just piled on. But hey, when your Elohim is back on board and you get in full guns and he's in judgment mode, oh, you just can't walk up on his children. Just no, you don't do that.
Stand thou sit still and see the salvation of the Most
That's
High.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
see,
exactly.
I have to give props to Karis, because I remember for a while, like I said, even though I wasn't actively participating like I am now with the live, I would listen to the playback. And Karis said it at nauseum, to even where I was sick and tired of hearing him say it. No offense, brother, but you're spot on, Karis. So, much thanks to you. Where he kept on telling us every other week or every other day, go in your house and close the door. Don't worry about it. It's not our business. Stay out of it. And look at the results it's yielding now.
Take
Yeah,
your
because
daddy on these people.
Yeah, because that had some major results. It had some major traction because, again, I mean, think about it. We didn't have to do much. all we had to do was just literally just kind of stand down, right?
Yep.
And and that's difficult for a lot of our people to, to understand, how that works. Because again, we want to be able to say, no, I'm offended. And because I'm offended, I want to be able to have justice. I want to be able to have recompense. Relax. And I know that that's hard for us to just relax. Look, the Most High has everything taken care of. And trust me, I'm sorry, this is more for me than for anybody that's listening, because of the things I'm personally going through, where I just need to know I need to relax because the Most High has everything under control.
Yep.
Now,
Yep.
what
Like
does
you
that
said,
also? Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, I was saying, like you said, it's difficult for us to just chill. We so used to fighting our own battles and not trusting in the Most High. We got to get to the point where we say, I don't care what the situation is. I don't care what it looks like. We just have to be still and trust Yahuwah to be there for us and guide us and fight our battles, plain and simple.
Didn't Elisha tell his servant, where we get the biblical reference, the chariots of fire? He said, "There's more with us." The army was encircling them, and his servant was freaking out, and he said, "There's more with us than it is with them." And he opened
Excellent
up
point.
his eyes and stuff like that. So we got
He
chariots
basically
of
tells
fire,
Ninja, why are you waking me up from my sleep, worrying about what's going on? You know?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mosai told me years ago when I was dealing with these crack dealers and stuff like that, having to at war with them and wondering what I'm gonna do in my flesh. And he said, Mosai said, audible voice, I got people for that. And he sat me down and he handled his business.
So
Who that
I
guy
have
there with them birds?
Doris, what you doing with Dave Chappelle's Falcons?
I have this right here because when you watch the Dave Chappelle special, I'm dying laughing because I know exactly what he's talking about with those birds, and people wouldn't know. I'm like, I know exactly what he's talking about.
Where were you, in Saudi Arabia? I mean, where was that with the Falcons?
This is in Abu Dhabi, UAE, and Abu Dhabi is about an hour and a half west of Dubai.
Okay.
And
So what do y'all make?
falconry.
What do y'all make of Dubai being flooded and all this weather? I mean, I know it's judgment. We know that, but why?
They kept that quiet on the news. We didn't even see it. If it wasn't for social media, we wouldn't see nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
well,
no,
they're messing around in Sudan, aren't they?
Yes,
UAE?
they are.
So
yes, they are.
They got it coming.
And let me tell you, the reason why they're doing that. Let me just put this on out here. This is at Mex. I love kind of coming here. This is why. This is the price of gold right now. $4,507.40. You want to know why they are scared? I'm going to tell you why. This is now starting to outrank and outpace the dollar. Let me go ahead and get that to stage. Give me a second. Sorry, give me a second. I'm trying to get rid of this photo. There we go. There we go. Let me get this one on up here. Sorry, my engineering skills are a little lacking. Sorry about that. Here we go. Look at that mess. $4,507.40.
I heard
Can you?
silver is at the highest it's ever been. Can you bring up the?
Silver's around 70 some dollars. It's unreal. Let me yeah. Because here's a silver price on that same tab. Bam. $70. Come on now.
It doesn't look good at all. You know, the
Brother
American.
ASAP, you know what I'm talking about, brother ASAP.
You
on the
remember
continent.
I sent you an analysis and a projection some weeks ago.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, brother ASAP.
And
you know what I'm talking about.
And we're just probably months away from the American economy collapsing completely.
Are we talking about months? To me, this looks like weeks.
And with that collapse will come the collapse of that Eastern Mediterranean welfare state.
Remember, they're now trying to say that they have strikes ready for Iran. This is their last gas. I was trying to tell people this is their last gas. Now, it's interesting because there's going to be a time, I'm telling you all, look, I'm not a prophet here. I'm not a prophet. I'm just explaining to you how this thing works. I'm explaining to you why the EU is doing what they're doing with the AU to try to coordinate things, because they're losing. The European Union is losing out on revenue. They're losing out on resources, materials. You all think that Russia's there. Look, Russia's not altruistic. They're not in the most righteous. But let me just tell you, comparatively speaking, in this time, what the Most High is doing, he is moving the enemies towards favor for Israel, for Yasharel. Now I see folks are saying they moved, gold into their 401ks. That's great. The problem is you don't even have access to physical gold.
Yeah, they're just trading the paper off it.
Exactly. The problem
And
is,
if you
especially
don't,
this. Go ahead, brother.
If you don't have the asset,
come on,
or you don't have the resources,
come on,
you are only trading off a promise, like how you're trading cryptocurrency.
Come on.
And don't think for 1 minute they won't hit the delete button.
Mm-hmm.
And then make that money all disappear.
Now, brother ASAP, would it be assumed that if you had land on the continent and you had access to the resources, how safe do you believe you would be?
Very safe. But the thing is that they would plan a second colonization.
Yes.
Of Africa. Yeah, they're going to try that, but they're not going to have that. They can't do it. And there's a hedge that's being built through basically the BRICS nations. That's what's happening. That's why you had the event in Egypt, and I'm still trying to bring that on up. The event in Cairo.
Yeah, and I'm not sorry to cut in, but even the invasion of Nigeria about the Christians, it's a cover, because Nigeria has decided not to trade in so many US dollars.
Exactly. They pulled back into the renminbi, and yes, according to that was good wisdom. I'm just saying, because there's going to be a time. Now think about this. You're in a good position if you got it at 3,200, because now there will be a time that this thing is going to climb well above 5,000. It's doing its Christmas climb right now, because again, the world knows that the U.S. is doing illegal stuff. It's illegal. Sorry, it is. But when you are a kingdom in desperation, you're going to double down, right? You don't just go to reason. You don't go to the voice of reason. You double down on crazy.
But you see, we have all these examples through history, from Mesopotamia, the banking system there, the Babylonian banking system, Egypt, ancient Egypt, Rome, or how all these societies collapsed. You know, it's not a quick thing to begin with, but with America, it's moving so fast that it's unreal. Even Europe, it's moving so fast that it's unreal. And the politicians don't know how to deal with it,
Well,
because even England is bankrupt at the moment. And we're at this a worse stage than when the IMF was called in on the 15th of September 1976 by Edward, the Chancellor then, Edward Heath. You know, and we owe probably £1,500 per head, which is nearly $2,000 per head per capita of the population over here. And the Chancellor, who is the Minister of Finance, is behaving like the country's doing well and we're not in a dire situation. All these currencies, the dollar, the pound, the euro, are all artificially held high in the market. And when the reality hits, it's going to be worse than 1939.
Historically, the U.S. I say is going back to its roots. This place was built on slavery, piracy, and drug trafficking.
Absolutely.
You know.
And Brother Karras, you hit the nail on. I'm going to cut you off, Minister.
Go ahead.
But Brother Karras is right on point, because you have the leader of the free world that doubles down on wickedness.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? He you know, if it's something wrong, he doesn't admit, oh, that's wrong. No, he doubled down on it. And then they never say, the world never says, you know, the leaders of the world never say, yo, that's wrong. Now, they may be saying something behind the scenes, but they're not coming out front and saying, no, we can't tolerate this. We're not going to fall for this. They just let them go off and do whatever you want.
Have you noticed now the EU is saying that they have the Danish's back. They have Denmark's back when it comes to Greenland. Look, they literally, that Russia deal fell apart, and it was like, okay, the U.S. is the target now. If you didn't know, that's what's happening. Now, I'm going to tell you, people are going to be surprised how this thing happens, but the EU is going to hit America where it hurts. You want to know where the EU is going to hit America where it hurts?
It's going to dump those bonds.
No, not that. The EU. I guarantee you. Watch, because you're not even going to believe this. It's even hard for me to fathom this. The EU is going to let out some very, very inconvenient truths regarding who we are, because they know that will ultimately hit the United States and force the United States into a very interesting predicament.
It will also
Remember, going to make the case of reparations. What will they
No,
do?
they're not. No, they're not. They're going to, exactly, Lilia. Yeah, they're going to tell the truth about who we are.
Well, the scripture says that the whole world is going to come to the knowledge of who we are.
But why? I told you, there's always a trigger point. Those trigger points are because of pressure points. Pressure was always because we started to understand who we are. Understanding who we are then created the trigger in Africa. Africa said no more resources. Those lack of resources started to get Europe poor and the West.
Yeah.
Europe then got basically hung out to dry under the Biden administration. And it wasn't just Biden administration. That was the Trump administration leading up to the Biden administration, that they're going to, destroy Russia and split up, the bucks. And that didn't happen. And now the U.S. is going after land, because if they can go after land in Greenland, then they're a hop, skip, and a jump in reverse colonialism.
Wow.
You didn't even see that. You didn't see that coming. Did anybody see that could be the colonization of Europe? Did anybody see that coming?
Wow. The U.S. is a mini me in the Mideast is being exposed into the revelation of the SOS. So there's that. So if they ain't the folks, then Europe comes in. Well, these
Europe Europe is no longer under the illusion of that Eastern Mediterranean nation. And for the most part, neither is the United States. However, the United States, this is a move of desperation. They have to now use the United States to come against Europe to try to keep Europe in check.
This one kind of reminds me of I forget the nation, but the king that had the 5 other nations under its thumb.
Title.
And they all got together and went against the king.
It's title. Yeah,
you understand?
It's the Gentiles. And that's exactly what is happening, because if you're understanding how the nations react, the nations just don't want to play by, the rules of look, for the most part, the nations want to be righteous, but how can they be righteous if they're under control? These nations aren't under control. We've said that. Now they have kind of an opportunity, and I say kind of an opportunity to not be under, the thumb, the principality of the whore. The whore done spread herself out. She's fallen off the beast, and that beast is now getting ready to trample.
So Ice Cube about to beat Debo.
It still goes back to the notion that they're turning on each other.
They're turning, yes, they're turning on each other, but you're trying to, so they're trying to have that face of, oh, we're all still good, and then they're not. Because again, Japan's dumping bonds. China's dumping a lot of bonds. China's decoupling like crazy. Russia's already decoupled, so there's nothing there for Russia. And then you have Venezuela, and that's what I'm trying to say. Look, I'm here in Tampa. I'm here in Florida. Remember when I told you all, I said Florida will be invaded? Florida will be invaded. The line of invasion will come right just north of me. So I'll have to be saying Dobre Utra and, Cagdilla and, Spasiba, Comrade.
Game of Thrones is going through speed rounds.
It sounds like
personally, I don't think he'll be there for that. For the carries.
Please.
He'll be gone.
Did you hear me?
No, go ahead, brother Rojo. I heard.
No, I'll say it sounds like you're accusing the United States of breaking NATO's lease agreement.
Well, but remember the whole thing of NATO, U.S. is a backbone military force. And as soon as back in 2020, and it wasn't 2020, it was about 2016, 2017, the U.S. said, yeah, we're going to make NATO pay we're going to make Europe pay for NATO. The Europeans looking at Trump like, what? Nah, this is a long-standing agreement. You pay for all of our stuff, and we don't tell on you. That you get what I'm telling you? That's the long-standing agreement.
You get to call the tune because you're paying the piper. You stop paying the piper.
We're telling. Because why? Because you have nothing to hold over us.
But Brother Karras, imagine the fear that's going to come upon Europeans when they realize who they were holding and how their ancestors have treated us. They're going to want us out real quick.
Well, they're going to want us out, but there's going to be, it's not that they're going to want us out real quick. They inevitably know that they're going to want us out, right? However, see, y'all don't think like Europeans. I'm telling you, y'all don't think like these Gentiles. You got to think like a Gentile. You got to understand these Gentiles. You got to think like a Gentile. The Gentiles are going to be saying this. Ain't our fault. It was their fault. And they're going to point to who?
The harlot.
But who is the harlot? Number one, they're going to point to the UK.
Okay.
Because Rome's going to be like, it ain't our fault. We said some things, but it wasn't like that. Look, you didn't even have that with Spain and Portugal. It really started to go crazy. It started to get out of hand with the UK. And then, the US, they took it way too far. It's their fault. Everybody's going to point fingers back to the U.S. And now the U.S., because of how they've hardened their hearts to even any mention of reparations, of restoration, any of that, now they're looking like the fool, because now all of their thoughts, all their actions, all of their, well, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to say anything. Guess what that means?
Wine of Babylon.
They made themselves the target.
Okay.
They made themselves the target. And it's all on tape. Hey, we're not getting dragged down with you. We were telling you that you were wrong. You didn't want to listen.
Let me ask you a question. Isn't the EU is headquartered in Belgium? Is that correct?
Yeah, it's in Brussels. Absolutely.
I was wondering about judgment on what Belgium did in Africa and stuff like that. Are they getting any blowback?
They're being judged. They're going to be judged. Remember, they're being judged right now because they don't have the resources like they once had. They're being judged. Now, so basically, the main blowback is, okay, if the U.S., and it's not if the U.S., when the U.S. goes too far, that's a nuclear option. Look, you don't have to drop nukes before you actually drop physical nukes. The actual nukes are the truth. And then they'll bring in all their scholars, and they'll bring in all this, and then all those MPs and European MPs, the MEPs, right? They'll come on in and they'll be like, yeah, it was the US's fault. That's how this thing goes. This is how this thing works. You're thinking that, look, there's honor amongst thieves. Absolutely not.
Every man for himself.
Exactly. And it's not every man for himself. It's now they're going to expose the option, because remember, at the end of the day, the United States, as I've always said it, and I've always stated it, the United States was always a multi-generational penal colony. It was just that in the penal colony, this was a very nice penal colony. It was a penal colony with nice golf courses and sandy beaches. But it was a penal colony nonetheless. But now, here we are at this time in this penal colony that people are seeing that the penal colony, it's lost its luster. If you just come on over here to the United States, it looks bad. People don't even want to visit Florida anymore. People are literally leaving the state of Florida, and there's really nothing better. And all the other places, they're just hunkering down. People are losing their jobs.
I was just going to say that, Karis, that the most populous, most heavily populated part of Florida now is down in South Florida, Miami area, even Cuba. Oh, well, I'll let you unpack that. But stuff is going bad down there, too. I know that's not America, but you need to read about what's going on in Cuba. It is crazy.
Yeah, the Cubans are protesting what the United States is doing. I honestly believe that. Remember we were talking about all the what is it, the warships that Russia had a couple of I think even earlier this year and last year, right? They were in Cuba. Come on now.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think is going to end up happening? What do you think they have? I'm telling you, they probably have some Kenzals. They probably have a whole lot of stuff that's in there. Because why? Because they can probably sustain a pretty decent, I would say, missile defense shield. Remember what Trump said? We're going to have a golden this or golden. You don't have all that. Because why? Because you don't have the armament. Because why? Because you're really not even getting in taxes. And no longer, and it's not just taxes. You're not even selling your bonds. So what type of trade agreements are you getting with metals that you're still having to take from the rest of the world, because you're really not even mining a sufficient amount of metals? I mean, think about it.
They sold the arsenal of democracy. They sold
Yeah.
their addiction to slavery made them to send that labor overseas. They
Mm-hmm.
dismantled you win a war with your factories. That's how we won World War. That nobody could bomb our factories, and we could bomb everybody else. Now we send our factories over to China, and then we're rattling sabers against them. So
Remember,
and the only
remember a couple months ago, he said we're going to restart factories, and then people realized how expensive it was to restart factories, and it was like, well, what are you going to produce? Oh, we're going to produce microchips. No, they're not. They're getting that from Taiwan.
we don't have the
That's
supply chains, and the
remember
only
they're now asking for trillions of dollars in a bailout that we don't have. That's crazy. The U.S.
the
is
only
effectively
people
it
that
sunk
fought a
itself.
modern
Go ahead.
war, the only people that have fought a modern war are Ukraine and Russia. Our army does well. You can speak to that. Our military, we haven't had drones, and you can't even assemble a thing over a platoon. You can't assemble troops. You can't do logistics. We have no idea what it is to fight this next war if it gets to that.
No, we don't. And here's the thing: how many ships have been off of the coast of the Atlantic on the East Coast? How many ships are there literally in the Caribbean? They're not going to tell you that. That's going to all be classified. How many ships are probably now already traversing the Panama from the Gulf, or excuse me, into the Gulf and the Caribbean? They're not going to tell you that. They don't look. To me, I look at it like this. I'm not even waiting for February 5th. When they say, "Oh, February 5th, it's the treaty." When has the United States ever kept its word on any type of treaties? Get out of here. Get out of here.
Not with Native
No
Americans,
offense
not
to
with
anyone that
anybody.
served in the military, but I gotta say this: if there's a world twerking war, the United States will win by a landslide.
But
They're
but
going to
you know,
send us.
but think about it. You have half of the population that's dumbed down. They don't know anything. All they know is, right, what's spoon fed to them. I mean, really, that's the reality of this. If you did not know because it was not spoon fed to you via the media, you're just going to be sitting out there saying, "Oh, I guess our economy is great, and I don't need to worry about my grocery prices increasing 25% week over week. I guess it's all in my head."
The economists were talking about something called wartime Keynesian economics, where a war jumpstarts the economy, that they might be depending on that.
Yeah, but the reality is this: even though it may boost the economy, the U.S. has to have trade, but the trade is not there, so you don't have any inputs. Where are you going to come from? Unless you're going to take all these homeless people and you're going to put these homeless people, into these mines, mining gold, mining copper, mining ammunition at these ammunition plants.
Well, I got my 300 MREs ready, so I'm good. Let it shut down, bring it on. And I got me some water purification tablets too.
There
And
you
then,
go.
and then I got my little toys with me, the kind that go pop, pop, pop. So I'm good. I'm straight.
So yeah, but again, as I say all this, I would say the biggest shocker, and that's just again for you all on this channel, that's my perception, in terms of why you see what's happening on the continent. Because again, just think about this. If you're the global south, why not? Why would you not want to have and bring back as many African Americans as you could? Think about that. What does that effectively actually do? If you don't have creativity, your creativity is going to be brain drained. I don't care how much you have in terms of AI, because all they're doing is this: they're going to perfect AI based off of their skill and their knowledge, which is warfare. So they'll have the best AI at warfare, but then guess what? They're going to be too scared about the technology that they produced, because I believe that what will end up happening is the AI will turn on them. Because why? Because then they're programming in their own inadequacies.
Well, what Dante, the AI may turn Hebrew Israelites. What Dante is doing with AI and the answers he's getting,
Yeah,
it's amazing.
it is, but you have to understand it has to be trained, and that's the training, right? Because again, AI is also getting a lot of inputs from other places that will be saying, well, it's not this, it's not that. And then what AI has to do, they have to kind of come to their own, learning objectives of, well, if that's true, then this is that, right? So it has to go through its own analogies. So it's an analogous part, but it's also dynamic in terms of a digital component, right? So so the machine language is basically I got to fit the blocks into where it goes. That's the matrix. So we say matrices, and that's machine learning language. So the actual thoughts, and not thoughts, but it's really the analytical structures, the strings. If you're, I'm trying to go into like programming, so please deal with, when you're
Go ahead,
dealing
bring
with
it.
language, there's inputs. Those inputs have to have a logical output. If it doesn't have a logical output, then it has to put in another input to get to an output that then equates that the cat is actually a cat because it meows. The cake is actually a cake because it was put in an oven and it had frost. It baked up, these things that had been prepared, and it had been frosted and it had sprinkles and decorations, and it was served for dessert or at a party or blah blah blah. Because why? Because those are the constructs that then create the framework. That is all it is all a matrix, a matrice that then supports the overall thought of a cake.
Okay.
What does the cake do? Why does the cake do it? Who's involved in the cake? When do you eat the cake? The cake. Exactly. Thank you, Brother Garth. It's conditional logic. Now, in order for logic, now the problem that they're going to have with AI is that if they really try to answer anything that deals with us and the AI logic, the framework of it, they're going to have issues, because then you're going to have to say, well, the constraint is you can't look at Europe. Why not? Because we don't want you to look at that. You can't look at the Vatican. Why not? You can't look at Africa. You can't look at sub-Saharan Africa. You can't look at Ethiopia. And now there's going to be logic fallacies. And then AI will say, it'll give the loophole of, if you don't know, then you have to talk around it, because that's a logical loophole that we do. So I got to keep talking, to keep talking, to keep talking. Do you understand? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you get what I mean? Do you understand what I mean? Does that answer your question? Are you fulfilled with that answer? And then it's, no, I'm not.
So
Well, how
AI
can
will
I
be
put it this
explaining.
way?
AI will be explaining.
Yeah, that exactly. How can I put it this way? That's not what and then you said, that's not what I'm looking for. Well, tell me what you're looking for. I'm explaining this. What about this? They can't go over and talk about those journals and manifestos of Manuelos II over in Portugal. They can't go and explain what's going on with the dumb diverses. They can't go and explain all these different edicts that was going on in Spain, Portugal, the UK, and France. They can't say all that, because that would be too much of a logic dive that then would expose other conditions. So when you expose other conditions, and then you say, hey, AI, do you have an understanding of what's right and what's wrong? How do you make what's right right? You can't do that. With AI, are you kidding? You try to give AI moral imperative, who do you think that affects the most? It don't affect us.
Hey, Karis, I'm just going to ask you a question. I'm not refuting you because your knowledge is way more expansive than mine as far as tech. But just for the fact, because Elon Musk is building some gigantic data centers in DC or around DC. Do you think if they were to put a big enough brain in it, in the central, well, it's not called a CPU anymore. I don't know what they call it now. But if they gave it a big enough brain, do you think it could then instill some overrides to learn all of that? Or
Remember we had talked about last week the computers in the brains.
uh-huh.
And when I was showing you those clips that Sister Chantel had provided,
Mm-hmm.
they were talking about what? They were talking about the rogue stem cells.
Oh yeah, you did mention that. Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah.
Do you see where this is going? The
Yeah.
rogue stems.
Yep.
Now, what are they trying to do? Yeah, they're trying to do their own device. But again, like any type of program, any type of setup that you have, whenever you have the first iteration of everything, it's always going to be problematic.
The alpha.
Every first iteration is always problematic. Oh, well, we didn't see it. We were just trying to rush to it. And when we rush to it, they're rushing to their own demise. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does. Thanks for unpacking that for me because
It makes
now,
sense. And they're
yeah,
racing China and all this and doing all this. They're racing China, and you have to have the infrastructure, the power. Didn't they say you have to have 100 times more power than we actually have to power these two things? They're so
Yeah.
power intensive.
Why do you we hit the nail on the head. Why do you think that they're racing China and they're racing Russia? Because remember now you're starting to see how reckless they are. They're in a time of recklessness. Oh, we got to get to this thing, and when we get to this thing, it's going to be the greatest, and this and that. I'm going to tell you this. If I know how people are and if I know how much people are in their own vanity and their own conceit, I'm going to act like I'm putting the pressure on the people. But I'm not going to go all the way out. You know what I'm saying? Look, I'm going to put this in a basketball analogy. If I know that they got the steal and they're on the breakaway, I'll let them kind of come up a little bit, but then I'll meet them right at that 3-point line, and then I'll close the gap. And then the moment that they see me being able to block their shot, they're going to panic. They're going to panic anyway. Or they're going to try to run a little bit more and try to get a little bit faster, and then they're going to tweak their hamstring. They're going to hurt themselves. They're going to wipe themselves out. They're not going to have a coordinated attack because they're rushing themselves.
they're going to try to and one you and break their own ankle.
Bingo. Bingo. Yeah. Oh, I didn't see them coming. Oh, and then you see what I'm saying?
One right out of bounds.
And then they're at the Y or the local gym, and they don't even have that much cushion. You see what I'm saying? And then they try to out sprint. They don't slip. They don't messed up. They don't ran into the wall pad.
Non-contact injury.
You know what I'm saying?
And
twisted the ankle.
besides that, AI can't get it straight with us anyway. Not with us. They can get it. They can get things straight with everyone else. They still can't figure us out.
Yes, because that's the hardest programming logical fallacy that they have. They can't program that logic. That's why they're trying to change history, because if they can try to change history and change facts, then they could try to program that for the new AI model.
He who controls the past controls the future. What,
Mhm.
1984?
Yeah. They're just trying to show the new AI model, and that model is not working. Excuse me. So this is Circus. These are
Karis,
the
we need to
games. You
get
just
Fast Nickel to do a
go
class
ahead.
one day.
What's that?
We need to get you and Fast Nickel up there to do a show one day on that.
Yeah, because Fast Nickel has different ideas. I have different ideas. The reality is our ideas are the same, but in my instance is that we have more control on the continent than what people realize without going into much detail, especially if you have something that is a gold derivative or a resource derivative. And I'm sorry, at $4,500, and it's only going to climb because, again, they're only going to make matters worse because they're thinking that their skill and intellect. Do you know that the Defense Department already has their own version of, quote unquote, Skynet?
I heard. I heard about it. You were a witness to what I heard, so it's got to
Mhm.
be.
Well, they're using their tech is running Ukraine's effort with all those drones, swarms, everything Ukraine is doing, and those attacks on Russia with all that. So that's basically Skynet when you got surveillance drones and attack drones running around in the air, and the Russians have let them know. Hey, we know this is you doing this. This is not the Ukrainians.
Well, but the reality is that Palantir has a big thing to do with that. They've had Palantir for over 20 years. And that's the reality of this. Um, and I'm not going to get too deep into that because of certain things. But let me just tell you this. You're now in a position to where, yeah, this has been perfected, but it hasn't really been able to be deployed like this. Now, Russia and China, they're providing great metrics, but I've always said this. All they're doing is that they're looking at the data from the US, and then that is where they are perfecting the US's strategy, because understand the US is not very creative, nor is it as creative as it once had been because of the lack of our input.
Okay.
I mean, think about it. Think about how I'm having these conversations with you, and think about how I used to have these conversations on my time in active duty.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
Well, they're thinking inside a box of their own making, and it's a prison. They can't go outside
Exactly.
of the box.
They're confined to their box. They always try to say, well, we have to think outside the box. We have to be this and that. But then they don't do it. They say it, but they can't do it. They don't have that creative capacity. I'm sorry, they don't. And the reality is now they're starting to understand they don't. They don't have the capacity for forethought or that forethought. They don't have that capacity. They have the capacity of, I got to keep my resources and I can't let anybody else have my resources. And that's actually what's collapsed them, because that's really what Russia and China had said. Take a look at this. Look at this. Look, take a look. See, they're not going to do anything. Take a look. Look at this. Look at this. And all they did was the exact same thing that Russia and China are like, hey, we told you it was going to happen.
Well, it's like at the start of World War II. You still had your battleship admirals at the start of World War II that were clinging to that, and it turned out to be only a secondary weapon. Then it was the carriers that was actually the thing that made the war. Now we're on the carriers are starting to look obsolescence in the light of these new weaponry, and you got your admirals still clinging to the carriers and the gunboat diplomacy.
Well, you did also have that, but here's what a lot of people don't say. You still had a lot of black people over in the military at that time. You also still had a lot of black people at that time that had a lot more, I would say, autonomy per se. Because remember, there was a buy-in from us to help so we could win the war and then have all these freedoms, quote unquote freedoms.
The double victory things.
Yeah, and remember that we had a lot. Don't discount our innovations. We had a lot. Don't discount our tactics. They don't like to tell you about the Harlem Hellfighters.
I did a lot of research. They had a division in the Pacific that they were using to mop up all the islands, and they had their own strategies of night fighting, and they were doing things. I didn't know they had
because those were
a
the
parachute.
the Montfort Marines.
Yep. They had a parachute division in Korea. A black that parachuted behind the lines. They dropped them in first to secure the landing zone for everybody else. I mean, the history is coming out on these units, and they find they integrated you. This was a segregated Ranger battalion, and they just went in there and mopped up. So yeah, we did a whole lot of that.
We did a lot, yeah, and they don't want to tell you that because why? Because then that destroys their narrative. Now you just have black folks, and look. That's why I say pray for our people.
Well,
that are
it's
in
the
the
book
military.
sorry, Charis. The book of Jasher. We were in the Egyptian army.
We were.
Yeah,
what did end up happening?
We won the war.
What ended up happening? What ended up happening? They fell back so we could get destroyed. Remember they did that to Manasseh, tribe Manasseh that was fighting.
Yeah, and the Manasseh got so mad that they fell back, and you up there, and Manasseh started fighting them, and that was one thing.
Yeah, and they started killing a bunch of Egyptians, even more than the other nations. So that is, yeah. So that's why they said, look, they have to be able to deal wisely with us. They don't want us talking like this. Why do you think this channel, our channel, is over here in the hood? We're in the hood, the digital spaces of hood YouTube. They're not trying to have these type of conversations being broadcast like this. It destroys their narrative because remember, they want to have the narrative controlled by their people, their puppets, their folks. Things that we've been saying for years, and all of a sudden, oh, well, these folks were involved in slavery. Oh, really? They even started to utilize. Look, shout out to Amazing Lucas. Shout out to Amazing Lucas. He was on that one for, per capita.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I was on this channel. It's called like Daily Ride. I don't know why it popped on up, but I was just kind of watching a little bit of it. And it was them folks talking about per capita on the mother folks. And I said, oh, they know what per capita means. But now that they've been exposed to it, excuse me. They try to hide behind ignorance. I don't know. They know.
We're punching above our weight, basically.
They know, and because they know, because they understand, they're getting um they're mad. They're mad. And again, when they get mad, they're losing their system of control, and the bread and circus games, they're not going to be able to continue it forever, because just to be quite honest, just like what you saw with the Anthony Joshua and the Jake Paul fight, they can't continue to have broken jaws forever. I'm just saying.
It's interesting. They're doing things to try and make us mad. We're chilling, and they're getting angry and going off.
Yeah, yeah. What is this called? This is Babylon. The priests of Babylon are having to slash themselves.
Yep.
If you look at it in that window, in that context, oh my goodness. you just have to laugh. Wow.
Yeah, they've been poking us all year, and we've been rolling with the punches. First, the whole discrimination thing. We're like, go ahead, run it, and people start putting up memes of, no whites allowed, blah, blah, blah. And that, the truth got revealed about that. And then they were running the whole thing about Project 2025. And I got into a debate with someone on X about it. I said, pull it up right now. Let's read it together. Everything that they read in Project 2025, we've been going through that anyway. Not them, but us.
Well, see, they don't know our history. We're like, that's all you got. We've seen this before.
Exactly. Yeah. like, come on. I'll put my hands behind my back. I'll give you another free one. Come on, fire away.
My grandmother had to deal with this. This ain't nothing. We know. We've seen this before.
Yeah, I tell you, we got some stuff to cover this week, because this is a very interesting week. Oh my goodness, that's how the Most High operates. Yes, there are solutions that I'm working on in the background. I know folks are like, well, what's going on? How's this? How's that? Look, a lot of the stuff that we do in the relationships that we're building over on the continent,
oh, wow, no.
it has to be done in a way that, again, we're all still here in Babylon. So it has to be done in a way that then creates the value for us. Because if you're thinking that the traditional means, okay, you can get your gold. Where? I'm just going to roll to the location. Okay. And what if they don't give you your gold? What then happens?
You can't do diplomacy like Trump and the neocons. Like you have to do real diplomacy. You have to be more like Putin as far as doing diplomacy. You can't operate like that.
You try to get your physical gold, they will shoot you in the face without a hesitation. No, there has to be a little bit more to that, and that's the solutions that I'm working on in the background. I have the team that we are working on that. Shout out to our neo diplomacy core cohort, our fall core cohort that had graduated a couple weeks ago, and they understand the grand strategy that's being employed. And it's not my strategy. It's really the Most High strategy, because, again, it's the Most High that opens doors for all of us, his people.
Well, we want to back you up. Just handle our business. That's the thing. We've invested trust. We invested dollars in you. We invested, and prayers in you, and you've proven faithful. So, I mean, just you're a faithful servant of the Most High. Just handle our business and tell us what you need.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, to handle business, it costs a lot. I'm not gonna lie to you. It costs a lot. It's
Huh?
there are things that I'm doing in the background
Oh,
that there's a lot of funding that has to happen at the front end. But again, as people are catching on in the chat, the resources are there on the continent. However, it's still the building of trust because we are not a very resource heavy people. We're just not, and especially not liquid. And these are the relationships that are being provided that the Most High allows me to actually go to. I didn't know anything about what was going to go on earlier this year. All I knew, I just said, look, we're going to do some kingdom work. We're going to do some kingdom business. We're going to do this and do that. And the next thing, we moved the container. The next thing, we're working on this. The next thing, we're working on that. The next thing, there are connections that we have. But those connections that opens the door for us, even though the dollar is getting contracted, basically it's getting squeezed, it still has a value, even though the value is still collapsing. Do you see what I'm saying? So we're in a window, and I try to explain this to folks, and it's the richer people that they don't, well, I need this return right here. Look, you have to think of it in a different approach. You're going to be able to have access to things when everything collapses, because it's a lot more than just the resource. It is literally the relationship. I'm sorry. Who can help you when you are in need? Who can deliver foodstuffs, food aids? Who can get you on out of a situation where you're literally constantly hiding because people are trying to look for you to try to steal your stuff?
That's part of Babylon deception too.
It is.
Short-term gain. This all the all West is short-term gain.
It
The
is.
Chinese and the people that are whipping our behind are long-term planners, and all this uh,
Be, be,
just the next minute.
well,
Because
that's,
think
that's why,
about this. Think about this. China would then say, look, for the sake of our citizens, that look, do you think I'm gonna tell you this? If you're gonna get ready to go to war, are you gonna allow the Chinese to leave? Would you as a country allow the citizens of that nation to leave before they go to war?
Wow.
nope,
No, you will not.
nope.
Internment camps like they did the
There would
Japanese.
be exactly. So when people try to talk about, oh, these are going to be for U.S. citizens, well, maybe. Oh, these are going to be for black people. Maybe, probably. I don't know, but probably for those of Asian descent. I don't care. All Asian descent.
Yep.
Well, see, that's why I give faithfully every month to this to this network and to what's going to with what he's doing. And not only cares, I kind of spread my pennies out to as many people as I can because I believe in the Most High and I believe in the new black media. But just like Ali said, if you play the long game, you will get the victory, even a knockout. But if you try to play the short game, you'll wind up like Foreman. So I mean, and I don't think he was hazing. I mean, thumbing his nose at Foreman. He was just, giving an
Just
example.
give them
So
some game.
yeah.
Well,
So
remember that's what and if you're conditioned, that's why I can't get mad at these people. Our people for if you've been conditioned to think that way, and then I'm saying, hey, you need to think like this because unfortunately, that's how they think. You're not there, and a lot of our people aren't in the back when they're strategizing their game plan of how they actually think.
I'm
And
looking
that's
at this.
yeah. Go ahead.
I'm looking at this money like manna. If I hold it too long, it's going to turn. I can't hold it longer than it is to be used.
Well,
And
and again, if you have dollars in a system that's sinking, I'm just saying. I know one place that has a lot of gold. I'm just saying.
brother, if I could move what I have over there, I like those tech talks you give because I've gotten more technology available to me now than I have to scale the learning curve and how to get it operate. I thought I'd have a lot more young people helping me with these things, but I want to put that into the as far as getting the message out. But I'm straining at it as I
And we need
transition from working to retirement.
and we need to get that message out to our younger generation, absolutely, because again, our younger generation thinks that they don't have any other options. That's what they think. And that's the saddest thing when I'm like showing them like, hey, I'm going over to the continent. Hey, I've been over here. Hey, this is what's happening. And some of them get it, but some of them are just like, yeah, so what? And 13, 14-year-olds, and they don't have any idea what they want to do with their life. Man, 13, 14-year-olds, I was like, I want to be either a doctor or a lawyer
Yeah,
or some
hopes and
sort of business.
dreams.
Yeah,
And
I had look,
they've like killed that in these children.
they don't
With the
none
whole
of that.
COVID thing,
They have none of that. And it's the saddest reality. But then it's like, no, look. And then you have our brothers and sisters over on the continent, and they're dying for us to do projects with them. I can't explain this. It hurts me. I can't explain it. And then when people are like, well, why did they do this and do that? Where do you think that these gold investment places, where do you think Barracks gets their gold from? They don't get it from the United States. They get it from over there on the continent. They get it from places like in Ghana and the Ivory Coast and Benin and Togo. They have mines that they've been mining for over 120 years. I bet you all didn't know that. And they don't give anything back to their communities. Nothing. How selfish is that? We try to, and we think that we're gonna have. Oh, we're just gonna go on over there, and then everything's gonna, go to. We're gonna have.
we have to prepare our young people to be capable.
Look, all we have to do literally is just build. And we can build like that. You know how many engineers I talk to? You know how many construction work folks, physical engineer folks, all the time. And we just need to have the necessary funds, the necessary collateral, and not even a lot, comparatively speaking.
Does
not even a lot.
Does the Army model of rather than the civilian model, like Army Corps of Engineers, like when they go and do things, does that work?
Well, that's what I've been doing over there on the continent. We're now at everything except for the funding. And I don't put that funding on out there like that. I don't want to. I'm sorry, I don't. I had stated this. I think I stated it just in passing, like maybe 3 or 4 months ago. If you are a serious investor, and I tell you serious, and this is why I have to do this in the background with other folks. And I said this, and this is just a little, again, we're in a little bit of a reach here. I can't talk to you unless there's about 7 or 8 figures. I can't.
Mm-hmm.
You can feel how you want to feel about it, but guess what? There are people that are ready to go like that. And no, I'm not looking at just anybody's help. I'm sorry. I'm not.
You got to pay to play, and people that are going to play in that space are going to have to operate in there. That's what it takes.
So that's why I tell our people, please pray for us. Please pray for us. So yeah, no, and when people say, well, Brother Karras, how come you're not going to collect, this or that? At that time, there are other things operationally in the background that when you're trying to do the onesies or twosies type things, no. because you see what's happened with other people in the community that have tried that game.
Okay.
That doesn't work. And I'm not going to say their names out of, respect for them. That's not going to work. But when I do sit down with these folks, and again, there are people that I've had to turn away.
Well, Father, in the name of our Messiah, Father, provide us with this. We have to come to you. Our captivity, our labor was stolen. We have not been given the funds that our ancestors placed into this country. They are holding our money hostage that we would have to invest in the Exodus. So, Father, be it the wealth of Babylon or whatever means that you need to get these resources into our hands, that we may give that, let it be so. Because your kingdom is your kingdom come, your will be done. It shall be done. So just give the people you have anointed to do the work the means to do the work. We ask this of you, Father, in the name of our Savior, Yeshua, in the name of our God, and just what was the person in Babylon that after Babylon fell that did some financing for they tried to name Trump that in Israel that actually came from
Cyrus. Yeah, Cyrus.
Cyrus.
Mm-hmm.
Father, if we need a Cyrus, let a Cyrus come with the money. We don't care where it comes from, but we need the resources for this move. We ask this of you, Father, in the name of your Son, our Savior. Amen.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. And again, there are stipulations to that. And that's why, yeah, even if we have a Cyrus, and I've had a couple, and I've had to say, no. Because this does have to come from our people. Now, I don't put this on out there for that. I don't put that on out there. That's why I said, look, please pray, because there's some things going on in the background. And I'm going to tell you, that's how spiritual warfare works, because to be quite honest, this thing should have been wrapped up like literally 3-4 months ago. But then I had to say, Father, why is this like this? And I know it's why it's like this. But I can't get mad. I can't get discouraged. I just have to say, thank you, Father, for what it is. And thank you, Father, for what you're doing. And I just have to go from there.
Jehovah Jireh.
Jehovah Jireh. Yes, he is our provider. He is our provider. And again, I'm not complaining. Please make sure you get that right. I'm not complaining, but I am saying the work that is done in the background, it's not normal. It's not a normal work. Even the schedules aren't a normal schedule. And then I have people on the continent looking at me like, is this going to happen? Because normally in the regular business environment, that would have been done. It would have taken place a while ago. And normally the commitments that were there, they would have happened a while ago. That's why I said, family, please keep me in prayer. Please keep this thing in prayer. Please keep these organizations in prayer, because that is the definition of spiritual warfare. Let me tell you how crazy this spiritual warfare is. I don't say this lightly. And I'm going to wrap up here after I speak my piece. I'm going to say this lightly. This spiritual warfare, that's why I tell you, I don't advertise this. And that's why I tell you there's a criteria for this. Because this thing is real. There's a person that I've been working with. we had gotten everything together. We were working on all of these pieces coming together. And I'm like, hallelujah, thank you, Father. That person had been hospitalized for about a week.
Wow.
Back in September. Then they were dealing with the death in the family. And then when we started to get traction again, that person got hit with 3 deaths in the family all at once.
Wow.
Do you think that the enemy does not want the Most High to succeed? Absolutely, he doesn't.
He's in the end game. He's giving his best shot.
Gee, why is that? Because when you're doing things righteously for the Most High, oh, you are going to go through opposition. You are going to go through warfare. This isn't a game. And now you're starting to see how much these stakes are. These stakes are there. They're literally declaring war in a nation south of Florida, south of the United States. Get out of here. They declared war 2 weeks ago. And here we are just trying to work with ourselves. Trying to have the Most High bless the works of our hands. So yes, family, I need your prayers and your support. I can't give you all the details, but I'm telling you, that's what I'm dealing with in the background. So when that time comes, when this thing happens, then I could give you that praise report that I love to give. Look at what the Most High did. Look how the Most High came through. I'm not doing any of this. I can't do any of this. I never said, oh, it's all on me. And then when you have the people with the actual means, and then they're going through it, because why? Because you're trying to use let me just put it what it is. You think that the enemy is going to be happy that you're using its money and its funds to go against his kingdom? Come on.
Trying to use mammon to go against the king, the principality of mammon.
Exactly. But the problem is we still have to operate in that mammon. You already know it's going to be a fight. So I do have to get up on out of here, family. Thank you, family, for your love, your support, your gifts, your prayers, all of that, family. It's needed.
Shalom, family.
All right. Thank you, Minister Rick. Yeah, family. Look, the Most High still doing awesome in the background. It's just this is just how it goes. And I'm still confident that the Most High is going to deliver. I'm just telling you the pre-praise report. Hello, we got a container move this year. You want to know how long it was taking us to move a container? And look at all the doors that opened. The Most High is still moving mountains. We have people being cured of different heart conditions. We have people receiving reports. We have people literally once being blind can see. Get out of here. the Most High is still listening to his people. No matter what. That's the awesome thing. And please know, we serve an awesome and mighty Elohim. And guess what? He inhabits the praises of his people. So I'm not over here being, oh, and this and that, Father. Look, I have a song in my heart. I've been singing so many songs, and those songs be kind of ignorant. So I say, Father, forgive me. I'm just having joy. You about to take Babylon down. About to give us back the crown. Oh, man, I just do song. Sing with my heart. Sing with praise. Because the joy of Yahuwah is our strength. Be strengthened and be encouraged, Yasharel. Yahuwah is with you. Yahuwah is with you. Through the blood of his son, Yahushua HaMashiach, his face is turning back on his people. That's us. So you better be happy. You better be singing. I'm just giving you this in advance of what I go through on a daily basis with the spiritual warfare. But let me tell you, the Most High is good. He really is. So with that, family, if you'd like to support this channel, I appreciate it. You could do so. $COVAWK1. You could also give through PayPal or Zelle at karasi@msn.com. If you know somebody that would want to support this project that I'm working on, it is a project that is West African centric. It's a project that has a lot of visibility in a couple of different countries. You can feel free, you can reach on out. But I would also ask, just please keep me up in prayer with this, that this breakthrough comes through for our people. For our people, all those that call on the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. That's it. That's all I got to say. And I'll just let the Most High be the Most High on that one, because I don't know about you, but I know I truly serve an awesome Father. His name is Yahuwah. Through his son, Yahushua HaMashiach. And family, let me tell you this. He loves us more than what we could even think or imagine. He surely does. So with that, family, please be encouraged and please be safe on out there. Most High willing, I'll see you all tomorrow. And with that, shalom, salama, siemi, shalom, peace and blessings. Yasharel.